I'm getting weeds with this thing. Look at that stuff. But basically, once you get them down, you work them down, you stay down there or stay on it with that reel, then you can kind of have fun with them. I've seen guys that are struggling with them, and they're getting them out there, and it's like, you know, they're like over here with the reel, or they're like, there's a lot of slack, and you want to keep it kind of in front of you. And some guys like to use a shorter rod. I have no problem using a 9-foot rod. And like you can see, I'm like, as I'm working it down, I'm just from like here to the water, but it's with the reel, basically. That reel.
Kind of reeling at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then once you get it down, then you can kind of give just not a lot of slack, but a little bit of slack, and that'll kind of, get it to belly roll, get it to swing, and then I'll maybe go, down and then over to the side, and that'll kind of encourage that swinging a little bit more too.
Before you start doing that, though, you're trying to like reel it down a little bit, aren't you? Kind of like with like keeping tension, I think, on it the whole time and not slacking it. Is that right? Or,
yeah. That's that first. The first, I don't know. I almost wouldn't need to be doing these jerks right now, but right there, that's all getting it down, and then I'm kind of letting it dance a little bit. I might let it sit, and mix up the cadence a little bit, but basically, when we were fishing out here in the fall years ago, we were using a lot of like suics and bobby baits, and we're weighting them down, and you just always had this feeling like you couldn't get them down deep enough. And then when I started fishing with Scott and started using these baits, I was just amazed, because you could get them down, you could hit them hard, and they'd sit, and you weren't in a hurry, because it's dive and rise. They're not popping up like a cork. You could kind of take your time once you get them down to that depth. So to me, that's kind of the unique and important thing about these baits. Another thing that I do, and I was just looking, I didn't have any, but bell sinkers. If you put bell sinkers on this front hook, of course,
on the split ring.
On the split ring, it'll hit that weight, and that'll make a lot of noise, and that is a nice knocking noise every time you're ripping them, and it'll help get them down. But you can mess around with these weights, obviously. Megas and bigger are usually going to have two. The Magnums that we had, I think, only had one weight in them, but the double weighted Magnums all seem to run really good. But you can mess around with those different weights. There's screw-ins. You can, I don't know where you could get them. You could always call Scott too, but he's got different sizes. Yeah, they're pretty universal, but you mess around with that. But you basically want that bait, you want it to be pretty close to neutrally buoyant. I mean, you see this one's a little front weighted, but you can mess around with that. I want them to just sit. Like I pull